All right, College Bound staff. So here what we're doing is taking a look at how to do an expense report. So this is kind of a basic deal, I think, but everyone ought to know how to do this. So the first thing that you do is come up here to the purpose, and if you're going to do an advance, that means you're requesting money ahead of time. You would put advance for field trip, or if you were doing a reimbursement, you would type in reimbursement. You put your name, you put your program, you put today's date. This is the case for every single one of these with the exception of mileage. You put today's date, then you put your grant number. In this case that I have here, I've split things evenly. So let me just go ahead and delete this, and I'll say 6007, which is Franklin Pierce, Washington. 6003 is Stadium and Foss. 6002 is Mount Tahoma and Lincoln. What I would do is come over here and I say, okay, with Franklin Pierce, Washington High School, let's say we're going to go on a field trip to Seattle Pacific University. I will say field trip to SPU on, you want to make sure you put a date, 2/15, and then I would say something to the effect of 15 students and staff, and you might also put into here what your costs are going to be. So then I would you could come down to this next column or line if you want, and I would say lunch at $7 per person times 15 people, and then you would come over here. You're not doing this is not a reimbursement again. Let's say this is an advance. It won't let you fill it out over here, but you would type it in. You do your 7 times 15. You can also put on here, let's say then afterwards you're going to the Seattle Sounders game, Seattle Sounders game, and you would say 15 tickets by $20, and then you would do your totals over here. For your expense, anytime you do food, your expense is $9,300. Actually, I would not put it in that one. I would put it over in this one here, $9,300. Then if you're going to do like tickets or something, it'd be $8,710 for program travel. If you're going to pay for your gas, so you would want to put gas in here as well. So gas for the white van, it's going to be $8,400, which is gas. And this is an advance again, we're saying. So you're going to request, maybe $50 ahead of time. So you can keep it all on one expense report. Something I might not do is put, this plus a reimbursement for supplies plus 5 other things on the same thing. Keep them separate unless they directly relate to each other, like this is all one field trip. So then they will cut you a check. Make sure that you do this by Wednesday, and you get it to me by Wednesday, at least the Wednesday before you need it. Like, because you turn it in on a Wednesday, they can have that cut by Friday most of the time. I would suggest you do it even a week out if you can. So that's an expense report. You'll make sure you sign down here and do your totals over here. Now, if you're doing mileage, you might do something like this and say today is 2/1/13. You still do your grant number. You come over here and you say, let's say we had a staff meeting today. You would say CB office to Foss High School from staff meeting. You would do your expense code would be 8400 for mileage. And this is Foss, so if anyone wants to steal money from the Foss Stadium grant at 6003, you'd come up here and you would say mileage. Make sure when you turn in your mileage that you turn it in by the end of the month is the best time. So you do start odometer, and let's say you have, roughly 71,080 miles on your car. You do a Google Maps to figure out how much it is, and you would do 71,090. Let's say that was the case. And that's 10 miles. Now, when this calculates, it typically calculates correctly. Sometimes it doesn't do it exactly, and it's like 2 cents off. And so then you need to come down here, and on mileage you need to kind of hand total it up, because maybe it says 43.28 and it's actually 43.26, and they care about that stuff. So this is an expense report. When you, one last thing. With an expense report, if you are turning in something for a reimbursement or you're reconciling something, make sure that you don't put the receipt on the front side of the expense report, that you staple it to the back or attach it with a paper clip to the back, because they code everything by what appears here in the top left-hand corner. The other thing is, anytime you're handing out something directly to students, whether that's food, tickets, stipends, you need to make sure that you have this filled out, and then you have signatures, and the signatures are the receipts for what you've turned in. So make sure there's always signatures with something, and that's attached. And so if you requested food for 15 people and 13 people showed up, you should turn this in with the expense report. You don't need everyone's individual receipts, but you would have 13 signatures on the back. If you requested $10 per person for 15, you requested for 15, you had 150, only 13 showed up, then you should also have $20 to turn back in. It should match the amount of people who signed signed the list. So anyway, that's how to do an expense report. Let me know if you have questions.